Good morning, students. Today we will see the fundamental topics of C. So, the first set is the character set of C. So, which are the different symbols that we can include into the C language? C language consists of some character set, numbers, and some special symbols, which consist of alphabets from small a to capital Z for small a to capital Z, from the numbers from 0 to 9, special symbols, and much more. So these different character sets are nothing but the tokens we are referring as. These tokens represent the individual entity of the languages, and that different types of tokens in the C are called as identifiers, keywords, constants, operators, and punctuation symbols. The first token is considered as the identifiers. What is meant by identifier? So identifier are nothing but it is a user defined or the system defined elements which we have to identify. So this identified word used by a programmer to name a variable, function or label. It consists of the combination of letters as well as digits. You can write it with the help of uppercase letter as well as a lowercase letter. For example, this is just a sample C programming to display the hello world. The first line of this program is hash include std io.h, which is required for the header file for the input output function. Then you have to write int main, the sim and the circular brackets, curly bracket, opening curly bracket. Then you have to just write the printf hello world and return 0. Now we'll see the meaning of each line. The first line hash include stdio.h, which is used to include the standard input and output library into our program. For example, we are using here the printf. This printf is one of the function which is included into the standard input output library. So printf is used to display the output for your program. Int main is one of the function which is the main function which required to execute your program. As I earlier mentioned, printf is the function which you have to display. So printf, you have to write your message within the double quote and then that message will get displayed. Return 0 is the statement where your program will be ended. You have written here integer main, so you have to return the integer value, and that's why we have written here the integer return 0. So this is the sample program of the C programming. Now next token is the keywords. So keywords are nothing but a system generated identifier which are having some reserved words which having some specific meaning provided by the system uh, to help the variable and the constant which programmer can be used. These keywords are the case sensitive. So total 32 keywords are there in C programming, which is mentioned in the table given below. Constant is one of the token which is required when you have a variable required which value you don't want to change it, then you have to mention it as a constant. For example, if pi is one variable which having the 3.14 is the constant value which we are using into the math function. So to use this function, we have to define const along with the data type of the variable, the name of variable equal to that value. So here I have declared const, double is the data type of pi variable which is pi, which is equal to 3.14. So pi is a constant which we can use into our program, and 3.14 is the value which we have assigned to the pi constant variable. Integer constant in one of the type of the constant where for that particular constant you can refer or assign the integer type value, for example decimal constant, octant constant or the hexadecimal constants. Similarly, the floating point constant is there where you can assign a fractional form or exponential form of the number to that particular variable. Same way, the character constant is there where you can use a single character assigned to that character constant, and that character value you have to give with the help of single quotation. String constant are one of the type of constant which is enclosed with the double quote marks, where you can give the string to a particular string constant variable. The syntax for the constant variable is you have to write const keyword, which is the system defined keyword, const. So const keyword, then you have to define the data type of that particular variable, whether you have to define it integer constant, character constant, or floating point constant, and then name of your variable, and then you have to initialize the value. For example, I have declared here the variable var, which is the integer constant, and I have assigned the value is 5. So this is the way how you have defined the constant. The next token is the variable. Variable is nothing but whenever you have to store some information, or you have to store the area, you have to define the variable so that in the program we can manipulate the value of that particular variable. Whenever you define the variable according to the data type of that particular variable, you are able to assign the size for and the layout of that particular variable memory. The range will be given as per the data type. The variable name can be composed of letters, digit, and underscore, but it should always begin with either a letter or underscore. You cannot put the number as a initialization letter of the variable. So C variable are case sensitive, and you can write it in upper and lowercase alphabets. So the variable types can be, the general data type can be the character, integer, float, double, and void. Character is used to single value which we can refer into the character data type. In integer, you can store the integer type of value. In the float, you can have a single precision floating point value. In the double, you can have a double precision floating point value. And in the void, you can represent absence of type. Means whenever you don't have to give any data type for a particular variable, you don't have to write any data type, you just declare it as a void. So this is about the tokens which we are using into the